Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme? Yeah, was it crispy? Yeah. Yeah, no, I want a donut. But instead I'm going to go make chicken and rice. A lot of chicken and rice. Being a model is hard. Of course, I'm not a model, but I've heard it's difficult. No, but I had already been thinking about donuts, and then I came home and my roommate had purchased a box of donuts from Krispy Kreme. And out of the goodness of my heart, I didn't eat them. But I did look inside, and the heathen had eaten half of each donut. I don't know why that bothers me, because it's fine. I mean, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. It shouldn't, no. He should have eaten the whole donut. Donut one at a time. Eat a donut. Don't leave half of each. Anyway, today we've got a fun little interview, the first half, with Heather. She and I were in Matilda together recently, and we've also performed together in the past, but you'll just have to wait and hear about all that. Be sure to come back for the next episode, because we talk about some very, very interesting topics. Not that this week isn't interesting, I just want you to keep listening. And now, to the ever-present studio for this episode of Reading Between the Lyons. Oh, I should probably have my lemon slippers.
The lemon slippers.
Let me slip into something a little bit more bougie.
I mean, I like the lemon slippers.
I do too. They don't really match the outfit. Then again, my socks don't even match the outfit, but
That's okay.
who cares? I only have 2 pairs of light white socks, both of which I bought for Matilda. So.
Wait, that's kind of crazy. You only have 2 pairs of white socks.
I have some like ankle white socks.
But not long socks.
No, long white socks. I have long like gray and black, but
yeah, I was surprised how hard white socks were to find.
Yeah, I had to get them in a pack of gray and black socks.
Me too. Wait, where'd you get yours?
Walmart.
Me too. Well, I had to get mine like the girls section, like for school uniforms.
I guess that
like
makes
their
sense.
children's socks. They didn't have any like adult.
Mine are like weird sports ones, but they were fortunately still came up high enough to look like the school kids' uniforms. Hello everyone, welcome to this episode, and today we're interviewing Heather. Now Heather and I have performed together in a couple different places. Mm-hmm. The place we met was at a little job where we were performing as I was a pirate and you were a mermaid.
That's right.
Very interesting place. Now, Heather, what do you do for a living?
I'm a performer at Silver Dollar City.
Exciting.
I've worked there this will be my 7th season this year, actually.
7th season,
so
okay.
It'll be a good one. 7's my favorite number. So.
7's your favorite number?
That's right.
That's great. It's good to have a favorite number. Mine is 13.
Okay.
Ever since I was the age of 13, I was like, I'm happy with this age. I'm just going to pretend I never got any older.
So you're just forever 13.
I'm 13, although if you ask really anyone else, I'm simultaneously 35 and 5. So
okay.
I'd say like the middle
3
ground
the
between those
denominator.
is 13. Let's just say,
Solid.
Yeah. Now, first thing I want to say is I'm going to compliment your outfit.
Thank you.
It's got the matching kind of patterns going on.
Monochromatic.
And if I'm correct, I believe you made those pants yourself.
I did. I made these pants. They were actually like the first like structured pants I've made.
Really?
I've done like pajama pants and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Stuff. But I was like, why not challenge myself and try like real pants? Mm-hmm. So, I kind of made the pattern myself actually. So I learned, I looked up on YouTube just how to do a pants block, which is like your basic pants pattern, and then from there I altered it and. Like I made these like wide leg, whereas like the basic pant block was more of a tapered leg, and I added these front seams. I had to learn how to make like a button fly, and so I learned like a lot of new skills while making these pants. It took me a very long time. I had to do 2 different mock-ups till I finally got the shape of them right, and then I finally bit the bullet and cut the real fabric. But yes, so they took quite a long time, but. They're not perfect, but
well, they look really impressive.
Thank
you. I
you.
would never have been able to guess. You told me that you were going to be wearing something you made, and I was like,
which one is it?
What is it? They look very.
Thank you.
They look like you bought them.
I love it.
They're very good.
Thank you so much.
So, what's the reason that you started to decide to make some of your own clothes?
So when I was very small, probably like 4 or 5, my great-grandmother taught me to hand sew, just like doll clothes. So that's when I first learned to sew. And then probably about 8th grade, my grandparents got me a sewing machine.
Okay.
And me and my sister were obsessed with the Narnia films. Like, obsessed. Like, wanted to be in Narnia. We're so sad we were not in the film. And we loved the costumes.
Mm-hmm.
So we started, we decided one day, well, we're going to make the costumes at like a whopping 12 years old. And so we just went to the fabric store, and like we did not know how to follow a pattern at all. We literally like took our own like tank tops, like laid them down and cut around them, and like just made it up, like figured it out. And I mean, they were wearable. They were certainly not like amazing, but we wore them. So that was probably my first experience with a sewing machine. Well, then in college, I took a costume tech class, learned how to actually follow a pattern, and then I was like, well, why couldn't I just make my own clothes? So I guess I would just, like, I love like vintage looking clothes and like 50s and 20s style clothing, and you can't really find that in the stores. So I was like, why not just try and make it myself? So I did, and I just kind of caught the bug for it. It's like really rewarding to like see something like that you can't find in the store and think, well, I can make it, and then you make it, and then you can wear it, and then it's like walking creation.
After I watched Wonka, which I'm just a little bit obsessed with.
I saw that.
I love it. I just relate to the character so much.
I could totally see you as well.
It's like my ultimate dream role is really what it is.
You would kill
the
it.
West End version specifically.
Okay.
Because the West End is better. The songs in it are better than the Broadway.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they were different.
Oh, yeah. A good amount.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. If you listen to one, I listened to the Broadway first and I was kind of disappointed. But then I went ahead and listened to the West End and I was like, yeah, this slaps.
Interesting. My first musical was Willy Wonka.
You were in it?
I mean, like,
the first
children.
Yeah.
Kids. Like,
who did you play?
Ensemble, always.
Okay,
ensemble for life.
Yeah.
Professional ensemble.
Gotcha. And that's what you like to do? You like to be...
I love it.
Good.
It's like my favorite place to be in a show because you get to do a little bit of everything. And true. I feel like you don't have the stress of a lead and like having to carry the show, and you get to dance, which is my favorite part. Yeah. And it's just like such a communal effort. And I feel like ensemble acting is such an art. Like, you have to always be engaged but never pull focus. So I feel like it's a good challenge to try and perfect that every show.
Yeah, I was in ensemble I've been in ensemble for a few shows, but one of my favorites was Guys and Dolls.
Oh, yeah.
Because the difference between the characters you play are so massive.
Yes.
You go from playing this dirty street gambler to this like Havana dancer who's Latin dancing. And,
right.
And it was a really good challenge. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Matilda right now. You go from being a child to salsa dancer to a nurse to a TV.
that musical is
very versatile.
All over the place. And we'll get back to that in a minute, actually.
Yes, okay.
But when I saw Wonka and his outfits, I was like, I want to wear those. I want to wear them. But, those, you don't find them anywhere either. And so I looked into trying to figure out how I could tailor my own clothes, but I was kind of overwhelmed.
It can be overwhelming, for sure, but it's a good skill to have if you ever want a little lesson.
Oh, I will keep that in mind. I will definitely keep that in mind. When I worked at Mel's Hard Luck Diner, which is a singing server restaurant, one of the servers there, I forget her name, I think it was Sarah, she made her own, like, 50s waitress costume.
That's so awesome.
And she came in and it looked fabulous. It looked so good.
Yes.
But yeah.
I feel like it's a great form of self-expression because it's like you get to choose what it looks like and then you make it and then you get to like wear it confidently.
Yeah. I do have a sewing machine. I'm not entirely certain it works. So I'll have to get with you on that sometime. Dig it up and let you tell me if I have what it takes.
Yes, for sure.
So you mentioned to me before that you think it's important when your job is performing to have different ways to express yourself artistically that aren't monetized.
Absolutely.
And why is that?
Because it comes down to, even if you're performing and that's what you want to do, usually if you're getting paid to perform, you're not just doing the show for a weekend or 2 weekends or 3 weekends like you maybe did in high school or college, which I feel like is what gives most people that bug. It's like, oh, it was so fun, and like you didn't quite get enough of it, so you want to do a new one, you want to do another one. And then when you're finally getting paid to do it, you might be doing that show for years, 2 years. Yeah. Like, for example, at the Saloon, we do the show, I want to say about 800 times just for the regular season, like not even including Christmas.
Wow.
And so very quickly it stops becoming like wow, this is a fun show. Like, eventually you start to be like,
really
I don't like this
It's
show
really
anymore.
hard.
And so, yeah, it becomes a job. Eventually it becomes a job. And so, yeah, I feel like you have to find areas outside of work that fuel your creative passion, because if you just look for your job to fill that, then it's kind of tempting to be like, oh, well, maybe this isn't the job for me, so I'll just quit this and try something else. But I guarantee, like, even if you go to another theater, 200 shows in, well, this isn't fun. I should go somewhere else. And I feel like maybe that's what inspires the gypsy lifestyle of so many performers. But as someone who enjoys being in one place and, like, wants to have a house and likes just being able to have a normal life, essentially, I feel like I have to find creative outlets so that I can. Like, I have a steady, wonderful job, and I love it, even though, like, sometimes the show is boring after a while. It's still, like, a great job, and I love it, but I certainly can't rely on that to fuel, like, my entire creative passion. Yeah. So, yeah, having things like sewing or even just doing community theater, like a different show, like, or another show at night that you go do, something else to change it up and keep it fresh, is, like, super essential.
Yeah, that's exciting. There's actually a song in the West End version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's called Simply Second Nature. And when I heard it, I was blown away by how beautiful it was. It's about just the artist just needing to create art. It's like other people may not understand why, but just I need to create. I need to make these things happen.
Exactly. And I feel like there's so much joy in doing it and not monetizing it. Like, there's no pressure. There's no, like, oh, I have to perform this certain caliber. Like, you're doing it for you. Yeah. And I feel like that's really underestimated in America. We always want to monetize everything. Yeah. And, like, a lot of times people are like, why don't you sell your clothes? Or, like, I'm like, I just don't want to. Like, I know as soon as I started, if I started to sell it, it would become a job. And then it's not fun anymore. So
yeah, you don't have the freedom to express yourself the way you did.
Exactly. There's something special about doing it just because you love it.
Yeah. Well, I've got that part in the bag so far. All I got to do is now also be able to have a job in performing. I do plenty of stuff for free.
Right. Exactly.
Now, when I worked with you, well, I was a pirate and you were the mermaid.
Yes.
Your sister, who you mentioned earlier, was around.
Uh-huh.
And I had trouble telling the two of you apart because you are, in fact, identical twins.
Indeed, we are.
Yes. And now, do you have... It's the most cliche thing ever to ask, but are there any interesting stories about having an identical twin? I know there's many times that I've dreamed about what I would do if I hypothetically had a twin.
Right. I know, we do always get the question, like, do you have telepathy, or did you play pranks on people? The answer is no and no. We don't have telepathy. We can still finish each other's sentences, because when you grow up with someone literally basically attached at your hip, you have the same nurture, the same upbringing, and so you tend to think a lot the same way. And we didn't play pranks on people because we're goody two-shoes. Teachers' pets. And people mixed us up anyway, so we didn't feel that it was that fun to switch if they called me Haley. Well, they call me Haley anyway because they don't know who I am. So they're like, what's the point in even switching? Because they're just going to not know anyway that we switched. Let's see. Funny stories, though, is I think one of my favorite twin stories is at college one time. I was in just like the rehearsal, like vocal studio rooms. They're like little rooms. They have a teeny little window on the door. And I was rehearsing. And then I heard this knock on the door, and I turned around, and I was like, oh, what was that? No one's at the door. Who knocked? I kept singing. Then I hear a knock, and I hear, Heather! I'm like, turned around again, no one's at the door. But what actually happened was through the little window, I thought I was looking back at my reflection, and it was Haley outside the door, my sister. So that's probably like the most cliche twin story. Like, I literally thought she was my reflection, which is, she busted and we laughed so hard about it.
When it gets you, then you know it's...
Right, you know we're twins. So that was probably my favorite, cliche twin story.
Yeah. When we did work together there, you apparently saw something in my crude Jack Sparrow impression of a pirate, because you then and a couple others who also worked at Silver City recommended me for a job there dancing at Silver City in the Pumpkin Festival.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and that was great. And then that year I got to come and see you guys in the show, in the Saloon Christmas show. I've only ever seen it at Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to come back during the normal season.
I probably should.
It's a different experience.
Only seen the Christmas show. I've seen it 2 years in a row, but I've only seen that one. But yeah, so did your sister also work there at one point in the Saloon? Okay.
Yeah, we were both in there one summer of 2022. We were in there together. That was a lot of fun.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's my best friend, so it was super fun to have her in there with me.
Do you have any other stories with just the general cast and all the years of experience you've had there, things that have happened out of the ordinary in the Saloon, things that are very ordinary but you like about the Saloon?
Yeah, man. It's been a wild ride, honestly. I got there in 2019. It was my first year. I loved it. I obviously wanted to come back, but then the next year, COVID happened. So we had to move outside. That was quite an experience. Yeah, we were actually outside for 2 years. Wow. We were at Boatworks Theater.
Okay.
And it was hot.
Because those dresses too, they're so heavy.
Joke. Yeah, the skirts are heavy. We have like 2 corsets on and gloves and tights and boots and wigs, and we were so hot. But, we were just grateful to be able to perform, because I want to say Silver Dollar City was one of the only places anyone was performing during 2020. So we were extremely grateful just to even have a job. But it did lend itself to some challenges for sure, just being out in the heat, and we had small audiences. But I remember one time when we had the show outside, we were in the middle of a scene, and then we start seeing like just dust falling from the ceiling, and we look up, and there's a raccoon walking across the rafters. So that was completely unexpected. Everyone just kind of like froze for a second, and then we continued the scene delivering all of our lines at the ceiling for the rest of that scene, because we couldn't stop looking at the raccoon. We're like, what if it falls?
Probably was interesting that happened to you that season.
I think it was. That's like one story I always remember, so that was really funny. Let's see, and then we moved back in the Saloon in 2022, and that was just so fun, because the Saloon's so special. It's like a character in itself.
It's a very sweet little space.
Yeah, it's so intimate, and it has the bar, so when we were outside, obviously, we couldn't do the concessions, which people were sad about, because we usually serve peanuts and root beer floats, and it's like you walk in, and you really are transported back to like an 1800s saloon. So, yeah, we were really glad to be back inside. And then let's see, I've done 3 more seasons since then, and let's see, I don't know, I love the Saloon. It's so special. Everyone, like, all the guests come back over and over again. Like, they love to see the Saloon show. We come every time, every year.
And they really get to know the characters.
Yes, they're always like, where's Charlie? Where's that guy that plays Charlie? They get to know you, and they ask about you, and we get our little super fans that come back,
so
and so it's fun to make those connections with the guests, and just like be able to transport them back in time and theme with the park. And yeah, it's like, the Saloon's also fun because it's so silly that you just get to, I mean, that's one way that we keep it fresh, is because it's a comedy, and you're supposed to bring the audience into it. We can kind of goof off, and the audience loves it. They love it when you throw in an extra joke, or make a comment on, like, if someone sneezes and make a comment on it. It's very, you can bring the audience into it, very intimate. So
one of my favorite parts about just what I've seen at the Saloon is that the stage space or the performance space isn't limited to a separate place from the rest of it. It's all... Like, all of it. The whole Saloon is part of the performance.
Right.
They come and they dance on the bar, and they walk through the audience, and it's just, it really helps, like you said, feel like you're actually in that sort of experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very sweet and quaint little place.
Indeed. It's my home. I love it.
That's good. I'm
yes.
glad. Now, we already discussed this a little bit, but outside of the Saloon, you've mentioned that you like to also do other musicals and other shows. We're in Matilda's together right now, so that's one. And I know you've done, on the off season, you've done the musicals kind of in this area in the past. Is there a show that you haven't been a part of yet that you really are looking forward to or would like to be a part of?
Let's see. So I have been in Hairspray before, but I'm dying to do it again. I don't know if we'll ever do it. or not at BRAC, but that is definitely a show that I want to be in like 5 more times.
Yeah.
It's just
I
my
wouldn't
favorite
mind
show.
auditioning for Link in that one.
You'd be a great Link.
It'd be a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
that would be one you would also ensemble again.
Yes, I've been ensemble in it.
Uh-huh.
I would love to do ensemble again. I also would love to be Amber
Okay.
or Penny.
So there are some roles you'd like to play.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good. That's
Yes.
exciting to hear.
Well, see, I like Amber because she still gets to dance. That's the key. That's the kind of the key for me. Is like a lot of leads don't get to dance, and like that's what really makes me excited about a show is the dance numbers. So Amber gets to dance.
Yeah.
Penny gets to dance too at the end. So either of those, I think would be fun.
I think you'd be great. I see you more as an Amber probably.
Yeah, me too.
Probably?
That's like my top.
Yeah, that'd be really good. I was fortunate in White Christmas that the main characters were dancing show people. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
it was the point of their characters was. And
That's
so
another dream role, Judy. I freaking love Judy.
I'd play Phil again to be. I'd play Phil again to do Judy with you.
Thank you. I
That'd
know.
be awesome.
Unfortunately, working at SDC, it's like you don't get the chance to do another show at Christmas, or I would have auditioned for that in a heartbeat.
I was working there at the time too, and I just had to. I was like, they need like the only role they don't have is a Phil, and someone approached me and asked, "Would you put your stuff in for Phil?" And so I went to my boss and I was like, "Please, can I have these days off? You have my soul to the end of the year after that."
Right. Well, that's so nice about SDC is they are flexible like that, and they do care about you like having a life outside of work. So I love that they let you do that.
Yeah, it was good. I was glad to be in it.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Anything that can push my dancing ability, because I'm very far behind when it comes to that.
I wouldn't say
I
that.
push myself, and so I'm hopefully going to continue to improve.
Yeah.
But I'm aware that I started dancing at 18, and I'm 20, so I haven't been dancing very long, but I love it.
Yeah.
So I want to keep doing it. I got my splits recently, and so for Matilda, I go to the director and I said, "Can I please do the splits here? Can I please? It'll give me motivation to keep stretching into them."
Yes, I actually saw that on the photos that were taken, the promo photos. I was scrolling through and I'm like, Elijah does a split? I didn't know that.
And the photos, I messed up. That was the only night I messed up the splits and ended up in a low straddle. More than anything.
Yes, it was a perfect straddle though.
From the angle, it looks more like the splits, but every other night I do an actual split.
Okay.
And
well, either way, straddle, split, still impressive.
I can do them in most directions, but I'm actually best at the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I enjoy it. I enjoy feeling like even if I haven't got all the technique, I'm at least flexible now.
Yes. Hey, it'll come. Like, I feel like we never stop improving, so why not learn a new skill at 20, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still youngish. Still
yes.
still
Oh my
young.
gosh. Yeah.
I have my tap shoes here, and my neighbors probably despise me. I very rarely do, but sometimes in the middle of the day on a Saturday, I'll get out and start trying to.
Hey, you're on the ground floor, right?
Yes, I'm on the ground floor.
So no harm, no foul.
Fine.
Middle of the day.
Yeah.
It's not like it's
I'd never do it at night or early morning.
That's very respectful.
Even though I'm usually up late at night more than I am available during the day.
Right.
But tapping is
tap
just
and you can tap.
my favorite. I
Really?
just love it. I think it was because when I'm just picking up dances for the first time, tap was the one that hit the easiest. Like, because it's rhythm.
Uh-huh.
I mean, after I got over the original, my ankles are locked in place, and could just do a move over and over till I got it. I'm like, oh, this is in rhythm. This feels amazing. It's great. Now every time you present me with a new one, because I don't have a ton of experience, I'm like, I look like a toddler stumbling around. But then give me an hour of just doing it straight, and I'm like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
But I just love it because it's so fun to just be on the rhythms, on the beats.
So you probably learn more audibly than
I also
visually.
I compose music.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
I play piano by ear and things. So that kind of
I would actually say that tap's the hardest for me to pick up because I'm a visual learner and it all kind of looks the same.
Gotcha. Yeah, that does make sense though. That makes it hard. That's why I have to be okay, specifically, I can hear the sounds and that's good and I know how to make those sounds, so I'll know when I've got it right. But where am I moving my feet? You have to actually tell me that.
Exactly.
But for the tap numbers in White Christmas, I would have them give them to me, and then I stayed after rehearsal, as long as they were still putting stuff up. I stayed after rehearsal and I would run it dozens of times straight through, over and over, and they would look at me like I was crazy. But I'm like, I will get this, and it will look decent.
Yes. Hey, kudos to you. Rehearsal is is the best way you can get better, you know?
Yeah. And so I'm proud, and I've learned a couple new tap steps in that process. So I'm just sad because the next show that they're going to do tap in at BRAC is Shrek. And that's a long ways away.
Yeah. I know, it is a long ways away, but it'll be here.
And both of the roles that I'm kind of hoping for and I think have a good shot for, neither of them are in the tap number. So I'm going to have to be like, can I do a quick change? Can I be a rat and tap?
A rat. Maybe. You never know.
So you mentioned how much you like ensemble. So I'm curious, is being in a straight play with no musical something you'd be interested in doing? Or have you ever done that?
Yes. I think I've been in a straight play. Why can I not think of anything I've done now? Yeah, I've been in a straight play.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite.
It's not your favorite?
It's not my favorite.
Not your favorite?
No, because I'm just kind of sad because I'm like, when's the musical number? It's not happening. It's not coming.
I do understand that.
Yeah, and like I do like enjoy the acting and stuff, but it's just not the same as being in a musical where you get to be like a little bit more over the top too, because musicals are obviously like dramatized version of life.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite as into the realism of everything, so.
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't quite feed the soul.
And a musical is like 2 steps of expression above, because when talking isn't enough, you sing in a musical, and when singing is no longer enough, you dance.
Exactly.
And so it really is those 2 more levels of expression, and it is a lot more.
Yeah, it's like that heightened version of reality that you get to live in that makes it so like, I guess, escapist, whereas a play is more like real life, and I don't know, I feel like it's not the same way.
I personally, I really love plays. I don't know what it is specifically. I've been in a few. I'd need to be in more to really get my philosophy of why I like it so much. I just think putting yourself into this character in a musical, like you can sing and express, and you're exploring like the emotion of it. In a play, you have to learn how to explore like the minutia of a character's thought process. Like it's not just their emotions; it's their thought process. You have to understand like how is he thinking? Like how is this character processing this, and how would he react? Yeah. And this line is just a line, but what different ways can I say it to get the desired effect?
Exactly.
And it's just like such a challenge, and it can be incredibly frustrating when you're doing it wrong, but the moment you do it right, it feels amazing.
Yeah, I see that.
And we just had callbacks last night for Arsenic and Old Lace.
How'd it go?
And I got Mortimer. I got the lead.
You did?
Yes!
Congratulations!
I'm so excited.
I can't wait to come see it.
It's going to be so good. And the other people auditioning, especially the ants, the murderous ants, they are good. They're going to be very funny.
I'm so excited.
I'm looking forward to it. You know Nathan Sutherland?
No.
Okay, he was with me in White Christmas, and he was the other person called back for Mortimer, and he's going to be playing my equally murderous older brother.
Awesome.
So we're going to be at each other, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So
that's great.
I'm really looking forward to it. We start rehearsals tonight.
Oh my goodness.
We start rehearsing tonight, and then we go back and do another weekend of Matilda starting Thursday.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Hopefully Snowmageddon doesn't get us.
If the snow.
We're praying.
I am tired of the cold.
Me too.
I don't like it.
I'm ready for spring.
Spring is my favorite.
Really?
Spring is my favorite season.
I've never heard anyone say that.
What's your favorite? Which one's your favorite?
Fall and summer.
Okay.
Both. For different reasons, obviously.
So just like, no one's favorite is winter, pretty much.
My husband's favorite's winter. He's crazy.
See, the crazy people's favorite are winter. Let's amend it. I was about to amend it.
No normal people. No.
The crazy people. But then normal people just tend to choose summer and fall. And I don't know what spring means then. Because I just love how fresh it feels and how new it feels and how the weather's just kind of almost sometimes non-existent. And it's just like, so fresh and clear.
I see that. I see what you're saying. I feel like that's the idea of spring. But spring in Branson is always like, I want to wear my sundress, but it's still 50 degrees outside.
Branson, Missouri specifically is,
because it's so up and down. Maybe in a more moderate climate, spring would be lovely all the time.
Yeah, I think what I always considered spring growing up was like later spring, when it's like actually feels like spring.
You know, I think the perfect month is like May.
Yeah.
It's like always about 70 degrees. Yeah. And if you get like a not too rainy May, it's perfect.
Yeah. If we can have all the showers in April, then we can have the flowers in May.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love how I took a normal quote and made it completely backwards. So it doesn't even sound rhythmic.
Rhythm.
What do the two of us know about rhythm?
Clearly you know more than I do.
Performers who sing and dance. No, we don't know anything about rhythm.
Honestly, I'm rhythmically challenged. I'll admit it. That's why I'm not good at tap.
Not gonna tap. Yeah, that's understandable. Just the way that you're able to, and I know it's a lot of it is experience and a lot of it's the training, but being able to just look at the dances and just pick them up and do them. I look at you doing it and I'm like, because I'm sitting over here like, if I try to do that, my legs are in a knot. So,
you're like a baby Bambi.
I'm like, yes.
Hey, I think that picking up choreography is a skill just like anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you just have to practice.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's not a skill. It seems like it's something you're born with, but it's not true. It really is a skill.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely gotten better at it. I used to take forever to pick up choreography. Now I can pick it up, and now I'm working in the Saloon. We have to like jump around and switch roles all the time, and so I've been able to like reverse things on the spot now. I could never have done that 10 years ago. So you really do get better at it. You can practice.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know that's true for sure because even in Matilda has been a lot easier than it was in White Christmas.
Yeah. It's like you make those brain connections. You learn how to like connect it to the last step quickly and just like little tricks for your brain.
I'm excited to see how I've improved in 10 years.
Yes. I know. Yeah, you never stop growing.
Yeah.
It is equally possible that 10 years from now I will be decrepit and lonely. But we can only hope for the best. Heather's story about a raccoon in the rafters reminded me of a little story about a church where the preacher just, he was real big on production value. And so he wanted at one point when he said, the Holy Spirit comes down and that the guy in the rafters would let a dove go. So he got to that point in his service and he said, and the Holy Spirit came down and nothing happened. So he just waited a second and the Holy Spirit came down, but still nothing. And the Holy Spirit came down. After another moment of silence, he heard a voice from the rafters saying, Pastor, a cat ate the Holy Spirit. Do you want me to throw down the cat? Are you done? You done laughing? That was... Okay, we can keep going? Okay, we can wrap this up. All right, like I said, next time, a very fun interview. We talk about colors and weirdness of brain. And I'm sure other interesting things too, but I'm just thinking about chicken and rice that I've got to go make at this point. So just come back and watch it yourself. And see you next time on Reading Between the Lyons. My eyes weren't meant to be open that long.